Hello, and welcome to this month's 5-minute message from your Miller Johnson attorneys. I'm Adam Blaylock. I've been with Miller Johnson for a little over a year now. And today we're going to talk about a topic that is of great interest to me and of great interest to a number of educators across the state. And that topic is artificial intelligence. So first and foremost, the fundamental question of what is AI? And the short answer to that is that it's called a large language model that uses math or an algorithm in order to summarize large amounts of data. And ultimately, what we end up seeing is really a mimic of human intelligence. And these tools, I think, have tremendous opportunity for application in the education world, and primarily focused on making the lives of school administrators and teachers easier. But as with any new technology, there are always anxieties or concerns that come along with those things. So, what are some of those worries? Well, there's the academic dishonesty or cheating concern. There's concerns about employee integrity and how we're using those tools. And then finally, there's also concerns about data protection and data control. So first, we'll kick off and we'll talk a little bit about these data privacy and control obligations. First and foremost, you always have to remember, anytime you're dealing with student data, you've got to be thinking about FERP, right? And so the concern with the use of these tools is that well-intentioned individuals will take a look and use these tools in a way that would not meet those data privacy obligations. So my recommendation to you as a school administrator or school leader is to think a little bit about the data that might be input into these tools. And whenever you're using these tools, whether it's Gemini with Google, ChatGPT, or Copilot with Microsoft, that you understand what the obligations and rights are. Next, I want to turn just briefly to how we manage those academic integrity and student behavior issues. And the short answer is we have to look at and rely on our existing policies. So broadly, any AI policy does not need to reinvent the wheel. Every school district already has a code of conduct in place that's going to outline the basic standards of behavior for all of your students. But it might be a good idea to take a look at those policies in order to think about how they might apply to the use of AI, whether it's in a classroom or in the halls of the schoolway. So take a look at those existing policies, your regulations, and your procedures regarding plagiarism, regarding the use of student data, and regarding the harassing behaviors that you might see. And then remember, it's important to be flexible. This technology is new, it's still developing, and there are many uses which are just unknown right now. And so I want you to keep in mind and take a look at these items as a way of thinking about how what we already have might apply to the use of an AI tool. Now, one of the areas that I've started getting more and more questions is about something called a deepfake. So a deepfake is an artificial intelligence created photo, video, or audio recording that's not real. It's generated using one of these tools, and they're growing more and more sophisticated by the day. So what does that mean for a school administrator? It means a few things. First, you got to be a little skeptical about evidence that comes to us from a third party, just to be sure. And so if you familiarize yourself with these tools, you'll have the opportunity to be able to identify some of the telltale signs. But ultimately, when we talk about the misbehavior of students or staff, think about applying those codes of conduct. A threat that's issued through a deepfake is still a threat. Bullying that happens through a deepfake is still bullying. Harassing behaviors that happen through a deepfake, whether it's an audio or a video recording, are still harassing behaviors which may be subject to the code of conduct. And then ultimately, we're all familiar with the new Title IX regulations. And so again, those behaviors that are harassing or otherwise violate those codes of conduct, just because they are generated through an AI tool does not mean that our policy just suddenly stops applying. So be mindful of that and make sure that you continue to apply your policies and your codes of conduct in a consistent and typical way. So that's really all the time we've got today. I hope that you've enjoyed learning just a snippet about these AI tools and how exactly you as a school administrator or school leader might be able to be prepared for what's coming next. If you have any questions or concerns, don't hesitate to reach out.